talk right now about good cooks are really hard to find. It's really hard to find good help these days. What can chefs be doing better to help the next generation?
I think that's one of the $1 million questions.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to have any insight on it, I think it would be, when we're bringing people in to be a part of our team, to be a part of our staff, like to really invest in them. I think before 20 years ago, 30 years ago, before you or I were ever around, it was oh, this is my recipe and I'm gonna keep it close to the vest and I'm not gonna share it with you. Now it's a lot of sharing, it's a lot of bringing people into what we're doing, but are we bringing people in with their best interest in mind? So you're giving them the tools and the resources, not to just be a successful cook or chef, because let's face it, a lot of folks are maybe not on the higher end, but a lot of folks that are in this industry for a couple years, kind of passing through. And speaking with Richard Blaze, he knows that he was saying how I know that some of my cooks or servers want to start their own t-shirt companies. So if I know that when they come in, I can start to teach them a little bit about what it means to be a business owner and some of those tools and give them some of those resources and understanding of what it's like to run a business from the top down. So I think investing in people will probably get us the farthest, because we can only afford to pay a certain amount based on what the margins are, and those margins won't ever be huge. So how can we kind of squeeze the most juice out of the lemon, I guess you'd say. And I think the way to do that is really to get people to buy into the staff and to invest in people so they want to be around, because they know that, hey, like chef or owner or whoever wants to see me succeed, not just in their business, but in life and in my career.
Right. And I think that's where I see a lot of problems with those cliche chef interviews where it's like, you need to keep your head down, you need to be obedient, you need to be focused. Because then when that conversation comes around where chef says, hey, what are you interested in? How can I help you? You kind of get that cliche answer of like, I want to work for you. I want to as opposed to, because the door swings both ways, where the employee should then feel comfortable saying, I do love t-shirts and I do want a t-shirt business. So then when the chef gets that opportunity of like, hey, we're going to start doing merch, we need t-shirts. So you can be like, oh, perfect. I know just the person to ask about this.
It's an on-the-job training. And I think a lot of that kind of starts with onboarding. When you interview somebody, asking them, what are your goals? Like, do you want to be in this industry long term? If you don't, then okay, well, what do you want to do? So we can kind of start to tailor the messaging and the way we interact with you in a certain way.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people have that fear in them that they won't get hired if they don't give the answer that the employer wants to hear, which, I mean, it's different for everyone, right? There is that person who wants that classic answer, but I think more and more, like you said, it's becoming much more the norm that, the math doesn't work out in restaurants, right? So it's like, it's okay to not have that as your final destination.
Right. And at least, if someone wants to open that t-shirt company down the road and they tell us that up front, at least we know we have somebody honest with us,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'd all rather have somebody that's honest. I think honesty a lot of times translates into somebody that's going to work hard, that's going to be dependable and reliable. And if they're running late, they're probably just running late.